Okay, got the phone set up now. Okay, so the steps are you press in this part in the off position, it says start. Hold it down for 12 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then you press the piezo. And it lights up. Then you hold it down for another 30 seconds. I'm not going to count out loud. 3, well, maybe I will. That's about 10, 13, 14. Now a flame will shoot out before I get there. Watch. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 6. Actually, maybe it's not going to do it this time. And then that should be sufficient. So then I turn the knob all the way to high, and then I leave it there. Now, because I like to double check things, I turn off the light. Now, because the camera's on, I'm going to have to close. I'm going to cover the lens for a sec so that I can see that it's on. Yeah, it is on. It's all lit in here. I have to shut the flash off so that you can see. One sec. So you can barely see it. This is not, I don't know if this is going to show up at all, but you can see those little orange embers. If I go close, it might be easier to see. Doesn't really show up from what I can see on this end, but maybe it'll show better. But once it starts going, the whole thing is an orange color. So you leave it on high for about 10 minutes and then you can put it on low. Now, you know, when I pushed this button, I only counted 12 seconds. I think the manual says you're actually supposed to count 20 seconds. And the manual also says you're supposed to hold that plunger thing down for a full minute while the after you've pressed it and the flame flew up. The piezo ignition pilot light. After the pilot light went on, you're supposed to hold it down for a full minute before you let it go and put it onto high. Before you remember how I had it like this, then you keep it down, then you're supposed to count to a full minute, then turn it back, and then let it go on high. But I don't really find it's necessary, and if it doesn't go on, then I'll just try again. I've only had once or twice of using it where it didn't ignite properly. But right now it's getting really hot in here, so I'm going to shut it off. So to shut it off, it hasn't been 10 minutes obviously, so it's going to go out for sure. So this is low, and then to shut it off, you just go all the way back to this off start position. Then I go to my tank, and I press close. Well, not really pressing, am I? Turn it off, close. And that's how I do it for the heat. Now, I do recommend this heater. There's a couple advantages that it has. It has a catalytic. See this white material in here? Apparently it's embedded with platinum material that makes it a catalytic thing. I can't really explain it scientifically. But it's kind of similar to your catalytic converter in your car, where it cleans the air. So there's they say it's 99.5% clean and safe to breathe it in. And the one thing that I don't like, to be honest, is that when you're pressing this plunger down, you're releasing propane. And the thing is right there. There's no cover there. It's right there. So that propane is spilling out into the air, and I can smell it. And once it's burning, like once you turn it on to high and everything's good, then it's fine. You don't smell the propane. But when you're starting it, there's definitely an odor of propane. Every time I've used it, it's like that. And I think that's the way they're designed. And I actually did some research onto that, and they say that breathing in small amounts of propane isn't harmful. It's non-toxic. It's non-carcinogenic. But still, it's not ideal either, is it? Anyway, so that's the heater. If you have any questions, let me know. I can't think of anything, but so far this has been quite effective for me. My van is very well insulated everywhere, on the roof, the door, everywhere is 2 inches of solid rigid foam. That same blue stuff that's on the door, that's 2 inches thick. That's R10. And that is everywhere in this van. The only place it's not is in the floor. And on the floor, there's a 1/2 inch piece of plywood and a 1/2 inch rubber under that. And I was told through my readings that the floor is impossible to keep warm, so why bother trying? Because if you add insulation of clothes, of course you lose height, interior height, so I didn't want to do that. So the floor is cold, and of course you're going to have air through the vent. So basically that's how I keep warm. How long does the tank last, you might wonder? I bought this on Canadian Thanksgiving, which is October 12th, and today is November the 22nd, and I took it out a couple days ago and gave it a shake. I couldn't really tell how much there was, but there's definitely still some in there. I would say probably maybe 1/4 to 1/8 full of propane, so it'll probably get me another couple weeks even. This heater doesn't use hardly any propane. And part of the reason I bought it, because 1600 BTUs is really low consumption. And that's also why I insulated the crap out of this van, because I know that the more insulation I have, the less I have to have my heater on, and the more I'll save on propane expenses. Because I didn't want to be cold. And, you know, the odd time it is cold. I mean, when you come in here and you've been out all day, guess what? Whatever temperature is outside is going to be inside. And when I first got it going and I didn't run my heater at night, I was paranoid about running the propane at night. It was cold in the morning, really cold. But when I'm in the sleeping bag, it's fine. But it's that moment when you get out and have to go over and turn it on. I have to go to the bathroom first, so that I'm sitting in here for literally 3 or 4 minutes, freezing, until I turn the heater on. Then I thought, there's no sense in complaining, because in the olden days, that's what they did. You know, before you had heat, you had to start the fire. So, you know, you got to start your wood stove or your fireplace or whatever they used. So that's the same in this day and age. You have electricity, of course, but it's the same situation for this. You know, if you want heat, you're gonna have to put your heater on, and it takes literally within 10 minutes. It's getting pretty warm in here, enough so that I'm comfortable enough that I don't have to wear a jacket, and I can turn the heater down to its lowest setting. Anyway, guys, that's gonna wrap it up. I think this video is getting long. I guess I'm being a blabbermouth. And I'll have to do a video about my stove. I actually haven't cooked anything with it yet. I have tried it, but that's about it. So, again, if you have any questions, let me know. And I just want to say one more thing to be absolutely clear. It's absolutely essential that you have 2 things. Number 1, ventilation. So that, because this heater, really important to say, is that it consumes oxygen. As the flame burns, it's consuming oxygen in the air. So if you don't have ventilation and this thing consumes oxygen, guess what? You're gonna die. Because there's no oxygen in the air, you're asleep, you would die. It's absolutely 100% essential to have oxygen to breathe for humans. The second thing is this thing. It's my carbon, what do you call this now? Carbon monoxide alarm. It's never gone off. I've tested it. It works. And it says 0%. If I press this thing, let's see what happens. See, that's fairly loud. Now it's doing this testing procedure, and it's going to tell me what's the highest amount it ever was. Man, that's loud. Now it's saying the highest amount it's ever read is... Come on. Zero. So apparently that's the highest it's ever read is 0 because it's never read any. So absolutely essential to have that. Absolutely essential to have a roof vent open at all times, or some kind of ventilation. Anyway, still rambling. Better shut her down. Have a good night, guys. Take care.